Good morning, friends, and welcome to another amazing episode of Get In, Get Fit series. Today we are in session 65, and it is a very proud privilege for all of us because we are all going to celebrate the Platinum Jubilee celebrations on 1st of Jan 2022. We also have a parallel series called Pamper Yourself, which is, going on side by side along with Get In, Get Fit series. And I guess, that makes us come to the 75th episode on Jan 1st. And we have made this series, rather, we started it during the pandemic. And our entire focus was on giving, a complete unison of heart, body, mind, and soul. So with those few words, we understood that, we needed to have a unison of our mental health along with the physical health and the way we look at ourselves and self-care and all that put together. That is how we termed the Get In, Get Fit series. And today we have an amazing speaker with us. We have Commander A Muthu sir, who's retired from the Indian Navy. And I've known Sir for quite a few months now, and we have had many intellectual interactions in the past. And it is always a pleasure to listen to Sir. So what I'm going to do right now is introduce Sir formally to this gathering, and after which we'll have Sir talk to all of us and address us. Today's topic is going to be my coping style with mental health issues. Sir is a retired defense officer. He's an aerospace engineer. He's a coach for sailing and windsurfing sports. He's a joint director for the Military World Games in 2007. And he has over 24 years commissioned service at the Indian Navy. He's conducted many inspiring leadership and motivational programs at all levels, at schools, colleges, engineering institutions, and a lot more. And he's also a soft skills trainer who imparts ethics and moral values, and he has dedicated his life towards social reforms. So we are extremely happy to have you with us, Muthu sir, as our expert speaker today at the Get In, Get Fit series. The floor is yours, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Vidyaa and my dear participants. At the outset, I thank Dr. Vidyaa for having given me this opportunity to share my experience in mental health area. And to start with, I'll just share what all the mental health issues I have faced in my life. So the topic of my today's presentation, as introduced by Dr. Vidyaa, is my coping style with mental health issues. It is basically my struggle with mental health issues, I would say, and what all the ways and means I have adopted to deal with this kind of problems. So the mental health issues were unwanted intrusive thoughts. This was the first one which I encountered in my life, which I knew very well. Perfectionism, lack of purpose and direction in life, OCD, jealousy and marital discord, depression, and hyperthyroid. So the methods I have adopted, the coping style, was by pursuing the passion. If we pursue our passion, the mental health issues can be taken care of easily. Accepting reality and let go, integrating hobby with profession, emotional support from infinite, crying, introspection and self-analysis. So in addition to this, the professional approach I adopted is approaching a psychological expert in counseling. Medication, whenever things are going out of hand, I used to resort to only in emergencies. I used to go in for medication, reading books, attending various courses related to the problems which I'm encountering. And then last but not the least, learning to live with the psychological problems. So I'll take you through one by one of the problems and how it was coped. The first one is unwanted intrusive thoughts. So what is unwanted intrusive thoughts is, it is some embarrassing thoughts or socially unacceptable images that keeps occurring in our mind repeatedly, and it causes lots of distress. So this happened in the year 1984, the first time I encountered. That is when I was learning, when I was taught about transcendental meditation by a yoga teacher in my school. She gave an instruction that we have to repeat a mantra for about 15 minutes by remaining at quiet place. But she gave a warning that no deity's image should be associated with when reciting the mantra. But I overlooked it. I kept like while reciting the mantra, that word, I used to imagine, remember, recollect deity's image. So that led to a serious problem. That was the beginning of thought obsession, that is unwanted intrusive thoughts. So while at the same time I was aspiring to join an engineering college, I was in 12th standard. So my aim was somehow to try put in my all-out effort and do well in my exams and entrance exam and get admission in the engineering college. So that did succeed. But what happened is the anxiety level was so high, and you require some kind of faith. So you require on the deities, whom you believe, trust. So that aggravated the unwanted intrusive thoughts. So though it happened in 1984, it took around 3 decades for me to get to know what exactly happening within me, because the mental health awareness in our country was very poor in those days, and even now I think it is not up to the mark. So I have consulted many psychiatrists, psychologists, etc. But they couldn't give much. They helped me a lot, but they couldn't give me a clear-cut reason what has happened, what is going on in me. So that is the time, for 2 years back, I came across this book, Overcoming Unwanted Intrusive Thoughts. So when I read this book, it gave me a A to Z exactly what is the problem with me, why it is happening, is there any, how it can be coped up, what can be the repercussions, what can be the future with respect to this unwanted intrusive thoughts, etc. It gave me tremendous confidence. And I have a habit that whenever I read a book, after completing the reading of the book, I make a notes, what all the salient features which I can incorporate in my life. So that is called as ERIC, easy to remember if consulted. I make a ERIC and then keep it on my table and keep reading it regularly, very often, so that it becomes part of my life. So the ERIC, a short brief of the ERIC which I made for the unwanted intrusive thoughts based on this book is, sorry. I thought there is only something wrong with me, but the book clearly told me that almost everyone in the world has got this intrusive thoughts problem. But it troubles only few people because they try to push them away. They think, oh, this is a very bad thought. This is like something wrong. I should avoid this thought. Then that thought keeps coming. For example, one thing which used to happen to me is the deity's image, which I am trying to remember, that will appear like falling into a gutter, and I'm trying to say, no, it is all right. Then it getting defaced. Then I say, no, everything is fine. So this happens to another person. They might ignore the thought and then continue. They think that it is a thought and then continue in their life. But in my case, I took it seriously, and there the problem started. And over a period of time, I thought there is something, I'm sick, mentally sick. That is why this problem is happening. So this book is clear that is a myth. It is just a thought. It has got no value to it. And whenever you don't want to, when we don't want to encounter uncertainty in life, like for example in 12th standard, for me there is my only aim is to join the engineering college. Under no circumstances I should fail in that particular attempt. So that kind of situation leads to unwanted intrusive thoughts, and it becomes intensified. And what all the things which augments unwanted intrusive thought is guilt. You got a guilt feeling. Oh, I have so much regard, and the trust and hope in this deity's image, and that is falling into it. So guilt, doubt, urgency, and the thought might be something very, very embarrassing, very, very unimaginable thought is coming to your mind. Some violent image is coming. So irrespective, whatever the content of that one, we should ignore that. We should never get carried away by the content. So this problem, which was continuing for almost over three decades, just by reading that one book, Unwanted Intrusive Thoughts, has cleared most of my doubts. So basically the insight on what is happening, why it is happening, how to overcome, etc. itself did wonders in my life. So that is about the unwanted intrusive thought. And I told in my 12th standard that in those days, joining engineering college is very rare. Very few colleges in our country. And getting admission was a very, very rare chance. So I succeeded in that attempt and joined the Government College of Engineering, Salem. I passed out in 1989 with flying colors. And immediately through campus interview and services selection board interview, I joined the Indian Navy. I'm sharing my life experience side by side, what happened, all this psychological problems, etc. So this is my naval orientation program. This is my passing out parade. I'm here in this photo. Then immediately after naval orientation course, we are sent for marine engineering training at INS Shivaji in Lonavala. So at this phase of my life, I got into a major problem, a lack of purpose and direction in life. The question started arising, why am I working so hard? Should I work very hard and go up in the life, or should I enjoy the life and focus only on having fun? All these doubts, what is life? All these doubts started coming in me. And I did not know why it was happening. And it was getting into so much of mental health, trouble. You're facing a depression, deterioration in the professional performance. So all these things were happening. And I couldn't find out the answer at that particular time. But now when I did my retrospective analysis, I realized this was the problem. So in the college, I was a star among the average. All my friends, I was a star, shining. Whatever I did, I was all successful. I was all rounder. I was in every activities. In the studies also, I got a distinction. But so when I joined the Indian Navy, I had the same hope, same thought that I'll be a star, but it did not happen. And now when I realized that I was average amongst, my colleague officers have been from very royal family, they've been well brought up, well informed about the world, but I was nowhere compared to them. So that realization was not there that particular day, it landed up in trouble. So whatever happens in life, there is a purpose. So the purpose I realized is I came across one of my colleague officer gave me this book, The Art of Man Making by Swami Chinmayanand. It is basically a Bhagavad Gita narrative by the Swami Chinmayanand. This book gave me direction, purpose in my life. Since then, I've been reading every day one chapter. Even today morning, I read one chapter of this book. That cleared all my doubts, answered all my queries, answered all my doubts, cleared all my doubts, and made me very strong. Irrespective of whatever comes in life, you are able to face it. This book helped a lot. So I did not stop with this. I started following Bible, Quran, going to church, reading Quran, reading whatever scriptures came in my way. I started following. I found there is a purpose in life. So basically, that lack of purpose and direction in life, I could overcome by getting into spiritual orientation and also accepting reality and let go. That particular time itself, I realized that I'm way far behind compared to my colleagues. So I had to step back for a short while and catch up. And then I should give enough time for myself to cope up and come up in my life. It did wonders. So next major problem I faced is perfectionism and OCD. So what is perfectionist is a person striving to be perfect and flawless. Though it is a good trait, but when it goes beyond a certain limit, it starts creating trouble. OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. So when these both combine together, the person gets slowed down very badly. Like, no, he's able to do something perfectly, but there are so many other things pending. So you can imagine, I was posted in a warship. Like, this is a ship. It's a cadets training ship. So it has gone abroad to so many countries. I'm the marine engineering officer. Is so high, and I have those problems like OCD and perfectionism problem. But somehow I could cope up. It was a very big struggle, and this same thing happened in many other appointments which I held in the Navy. So here, what helped me is here also I consulted many by the time I came to that I have this is a psychological problem itself. It took around 2 decades. That it does nothing to do with my behavior or my character. It is something, a kind of personality trait which needs to be corrected. So I consulted many psychologists, psychiatrists. Sometimes I did take medication, etc. But that did not give me so much clear answer. But when I came, one of the psychologists, she gave me this book, a copy of this book, and she told, for all your problems, there is an answer in this book. So when I read from the book from end to end, I found every page made an impact in my life and gave a good insight into what is happening, why it is happening, and how to overcome, what are the repercussions, and how to live with the problem. So many things, all these things have been clarified by this book. So that is about perfectionism and OCD problem which I encountered. Then after a few years in service, I started losing interest in my profession. See, I have been trained, the Indian Navy has deputed me to Indian Institute of Science, one of the world-renowned universities, for my post-graduation in aerospace engineering. And I have been trained to maintain Illusion 38 aircraft and other aircraft forms. But at this juncture, when I'm losing profession interest in the profession, it's again creating a huge stress on me. So at this place, we have to stop and take a look at what is happening, what are the choices available. So for me, the choice available was to pursue my passion within that particular field. Like I'm an aerospace engineer, so what I can do so that my interest is also taken care of and the services requirement is also met. So I volunteered for teaching profession within the Indian Navy. Only thing is, if you continue in the teaching profession for a long time, you are likely to lose out on your career. Your promotion prospects will get affected, and so many other problems will happen. But you have to take a decision. So there is a quote: "Few battles may have to be lost to win the war." So I realized my life is the war, whereas the promotion or temporary benefits, it's all it's immaterial. So I should focus on the war, not on each battle. So that is how I got posted to the Naval Institute of Aeronautical Technology. I was a professor there for almost in the 24 years of service, 10 years on and off. Total, I was 10 years. I did the tenure there. But here also there is a limitation in service establishment, training establishments. You have, apart from teaching, you have to do innumerable amount of jobs, administrative job, which I was not interested in. So again, I was wondering how to go about. That is the time I was teaching aerodynamics, and I came to know the one's sailing and windsurfing sport is basically the principle behind that is aerodynamics. So I was teaching the aerodynamics to students. I thought, why not take these students, trainee officers and sailors, to the sailing club and teach them aerodynamics through the sailing activities, which is one of the very important sports of the Indian Navy. So there was no looking back. That was the beginning of my sports at the age of 30 years. Before that, no record of achievement in sports activities, but at the age of 30 years, I could get into sailing and windsurfing. And almost 4 or 5 years, there are so many medals, national level, regional level, I could win. And all my trainee officers and sailors, most of them became very good yachtsmen, and some of them even gone to Asiad level. So one way of coping up with a problem losing profession, interest in profession, is and you're not able to leave the profession because you're like it is a bond, like you're given a I have given willingness to serve in the Indian Navy throughout the life. That is till my retirement age, superannuation age. So there is no way of leaving, and I am not able to continue with that profession. So that when you look for option, you will get it. So, and I was posted to military. I was made joint director of military world games. I was made officer in charge of sailing clubs, command sports officer, etc. The next major problem in the mental health issue I encountered is jealousy, possessiveness, and marital discord. So jealousy is a defensive reaction to a perceived threat to a relationship. When your spouse speaks to the opposite gender, you become the person becomes insecure. Started feeling a kind of fear used to creep in. And to a small amount, everyone has got. But if it becomes little on the larger, more amount, then it creates trouble. Even possessiveness, you expect the spouse to be with you always because her presence helps you, makes you very good in front of the public, and she takes care of all your requirements, etc. But what happens is when it goes beyond the limit, you start imprisoning the spouse. So for this, again, I adopted many methods. One is psychological counseling. There are occasions I went for medical psychiatric medications for humans, reading books, introspection, self-analysis, attending course on marital happiness. Because this I attended almost 27 years after my married life, but still it helped. A course conducted by MS Muthu Institute of Mental Health and Rehabilitation on marital happiness. So all these things helped a lot. But in this, the major thing which played a role is books. So I read one book, Overcoming Jealousy and Possessiveness. Though this book is not well written, like even the book on Unwanted, Intrusive thought is not well written, but whatever content in that one was wonderful. I made a gist of that one. When I kept on reading that one, I was able to take charge of reining on my problem so that my spouse is not affected in the process. Then the book Jealousy Cure, again, it gave a very good insight. And the world famous book is one of the best-selling author is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. It gives a very good insight. Like any conflict or argument takes place, it gives a very good clarity. And you know what is happening. You can correct, like one can correct himself or herself. So that is about marital discord. Now coming to the next problem which I had is depression and hyperthyroid. It was in the year 2019. Dr. Vidyaa also knows about this one. Like I've quit all my profession and everything. Now I'm into social reform. So she asked me, tell me concretely, what are you going to do? So there was I entered 2017, I took a decision that I'll do social reforms. Until now, I did not get into a concrete area. So in 2 years, what happened is, I did not want to go back to my teaching profession. I was working in SRM University. I did not want to go there. At the same time, I'm not getting a clear way ahead. And there were some mounting personal problems also. This led to depression and hyperthyroid. I don't know which one triggered first. I think it's a depression which led to hyperthyroid, or hyperthyroid led to depression. Both are very dangerous combination. So here also I consulted doctor. He gave a medicine every day to be taken. But the book which helped me is the Thyroid Solution. So this book told me it's a as the title itself says, a revolutionary mind-body program for regaining your emotional and physical health. So when I read this book, I realized my hyperthyroid problems and the depression set in because of my personality. I'm losing hope, lack of faith, lack of clarity in life, and kind of sadness. So I found out methods to keep myself busy, keep myself occupied, keep myself oriented in the positive direction. And very few people get out of this hyperthyroid or hypothyroid problem quickly and permanently. So in my case, I was able to achieve that in just few months of medication. I was able to bring it to a normal condition. And then attain a balanced state. So almost 2 years since, I don't have any problem. So in short, there are so many other problems have been faced by me, but I've been given only 20 minutes by Dr. Vidyaa, so I should complete. So I selected only the few of the salient problems which I encountered, and like unwanted intrusive thoughts, perfectionism, OCD, lack of purpose and direction in life, marital discord, depression, and hyperthyroid. And the methods I adopted is pursuing the passion, like going into for teaching profession within the Indian Navy, accepting reality and let go. In the first 2 years of service, I realized that I'm lagging behind compared to my colleague officers. So step back, and then try to improve the personality and cope up with them in the times to come. Integrating hobby with profession. That is how my teaching profession got joined with the sailing and windsurfing, and I could get into the sports career and was able to meet the requirement of the Navy, Indian Navy, as well as myself. And it actually went one step ahead compared to my colleague officers. My contribution was much higher because I took care of on sports activities in addition to my profession. Emotional support from Infinite. This I do not cover much. This is basically prayer or going for counseling, etc. Crying, introspection and self-analysis. And additionally, the professional is consulting a psychologist, medication in times of emergency, reading books. The reading books good thing is it gives an exhaustive info about the problem which we are encountering. Attending various courses, learning to live with psychological problems. There are certain problems which we don't require to get a complete cure. It is enough if we know what is it happening, what is its damage it is likely to cause, and if it is not much, if we can live with, if we consider the weigh the pros and cons with the medication, certain psychological problems can be managed lifelong. So to sum it up, I would say so much of mental health issues which I encountered in my life, I was able to overcome mainly by gaining insight, by adopting multi-directional approach. One is consulting a professional, resorting to medication, introspection, reading books. So various approach we adopt, we get a good insight. Once we have a good insight, it is easy to manage the problem. So in this, the books played a vital role. So what I learned in my life by the last, say, 54 years of my life is we do encounter problems in our life, but it all depends on our attitude, how we take it up. So if we can, the quote which helped me is, if you learn to translate every event of your life into a positive one, you will stop being a prisoner of your past and become the designer of your future. So while in the towards the end of my naval career, when I was about to take a retirement, I was feeling like what my entire life, there's so much of problems was there. What did I achieve? But later on, I realized why not analyze all those things and start writing as a book, and then make use of this to strengthen my personality. And now I realize whatever happened was for a good cause. So, but for all these problems, I may not have come across. I may not have got a chance to speak to you all, share my experience today. So with this, I thank Dr. Vidyaa and the participants for giving me this opportunity. And any questions, please, the floor is open for you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed a wonderful session as always. Many a times we generally feel like, how to work on ourselves and how things can go on. And many people feel that, everything is rosy or, the grass is always green on the other side. But very few understand that each of us have our own journey to walk through, and only internal strength. And I guess you were very lucky because you were able to self-realize it, and you sought, help at every juncture, and also you got, the right kind of books, and you were ready to listen, learn, change, adapt, and now impart your learnings or life lessons to us. I think it was a very wholesome session today. I'm going to keep the floor open if anybody has doubts, but before that, I just definitely wanted to thank you for coming forward and sharing a lot of your life. I love to see those pictures of you getting ingrained into the Indian Navy, and the way you're taken us a small peek into your personal life, and that was very, very, very special. And I can only thank you lots, because many people are not very open with what they have to say, or what they have done or gone through in life. But nevertheless, you have been so open and gone all out to share. Sulochana ma'am is asking, sir, can you give the list of books you read? And she says it was an excellent session. So thank you, Sulochana ma'am, for coming and being a part of today's expert series session. And thanks for your feedback. I have taken a picture of the books which sir has shared, so I will be sharing that. Anything else, you can definitely, sir, you can contribute.
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Vidya, for giving a initially, when I suggested this topic to you, I was wondering whether this is the first time I'm presenting on this particular topic, like on a formal forum. So I was a bit worried, but your encouraging words towards the end of the session makes me motivated and inspired to share my experience with others too. And thank you, Sulochana madam, for the positive and encouraging feedback. And definitely, I'll give the books, as Dr. Vidya has already taken the screenshot. And also, I have got, since the time is limited, I could not bring out all the books. There are so many books. I have almost around 40 books or so, self-help books, leaders books. So all these books played a major role. So what I'll do is, as of now, I have not yet updated. Maybe within a day or two, I shall update and then share it with Dr. Vidya, and she'll post it in the group.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Awesome session. And Sudama says, excellent session. Thank you so much, sir. And really, truly, it was a wonderful, wonderful session. Minnie ma'am wants to speak, I guess. Yes, Minnie ma'am.
No. I just wanted to congratulate Mr. Muthu for the wonderful presentation. I mean, when it comes out of a person who has experienced it, it makes such a difference. And also, you will be an excellent counselor. That is, these days when there are so much of mental problems, I think one of the aspects people, especially after the COVID, I can see so much of distress in people. I mean, you will be one of the best counselors. I think you can, that will be a purpose driven job for you. It will be really wonderful.
So thank you so much, Minnie ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
I really require this kind of feedback, because it's the first session where I'm formally presenting my problems. Of course, only a tip of the iceberg, but you've given me a very encouraging, positive feedback, and it's a very genuine also, which I could make out. And as you rightly said, our country is going through tremendous distress, which I can see my near and dear ones, especially the lack of mental health areas, we are having problem. And definitely, like what you said, it matters a lot. Thank you, madam.
So this
I'm a doctor, so I understand. No, I'm saying my profession is a doctor. I mean, a very empathetic doctor. So I can, I'm so happy I was able to attend this meeting. I mean, I usually attend every week, but Mr. Muthu, yours is one of the real eye-opener and very touching, your testimony of your life. and make use of it in life. I mean, you have gained so much knowledge through the experience and reading. And as I said, you are a winner. You must contribute now to the society, which you can do wonderfully well.
So thank you, ma'am. You made my day. I require this, especially sometimes I do feel, am I in the right direction? How much can I contribute to the society? So you've given me a hope and kind of a very positive, motivating feedback. Really great, ma'am. So, it was a tough journey, but I found now, the journey, the path through which I have traveled in the past almost 3-4 decades was quite tough. Now, when I look back, I feel that all good thing happened to me. Like as you rightly said, made use. We are making use of that one to strengthen the personality. Thank you, ma'am.
Nothing happens to anybody without the divine intervention. So there is a purpose in everything. And the important thing is to find that purpose and act accordingly, which you have done very well.
Because in 1991, the second year of Indian Navy, that is what happened. I literally lost direction and purpose. Why? And I became like a laughing stock in front of my colleague officers. So, but it's kind of a miracle that Bhagavad Gita came to my hand. That one of my colleague officers used to read that one, in my cabin. I was saying, you're all defense officers. You're like a sadhu. You're sitting and reading Bhagavad Gita, Bible. What is this all about? But when I was in deep trouble, he told, you read this one, all your you got answers to all your problems. And till date, even today morning, I'm reading that book. Like he told, read one chapter. It's by Swami Chinmayanand. He took 2-3 verses of Lord Krishna, and then he explained about it. Described on it. It did wonders.
Nothing to replace the divine wisdom.
No.
Nothing to replace the divine wisdom.
Correct. And now I realize that all the trouble which happened to me, the lack of direction, losing the purpose and direction in life, good thing happened to me. Otherwise, my eyes would not have opened towards the book, Bhagavad Gita. I would have scripture, I would have missed it. I would have missed the entire spiritual life altogether. That was the beginning of my spiritual journey. So before that, it's all more of a blind faith. You go to the temple, pray to the God, give me this, give me that. But after coming across Bhagavad Gita, later on Bible, Quran, Guru Granth Sahib, then whatever religious scriptures, materials came across me, I started reading them. So I realized there is something different. There's something great is there in those scriptures. Thank you.
Awesome. Absolutely love this interaction. And I guess as Mini Ma'am said, there are a lot of sessions we have done at Get In Get Fit, but this was a very touching, a very introspective session, as we could call it. And there's a lot to learn from our life's lessons. And it is very important for each of us to know what best we can contribute towards our life and towards the life of others. And that becomes the essence of our purpose of life and our direction of life. So I guess that itself it becomes a kind of, a giving, the art of giving to people. And I think today, that is what we learned from Muthu sir's session. And thank you so much, Muthu sir, for coming forward, for sharing a part of your life with all of us and making us feel so special at Get In Get Fit. This journey continues, and we're so happy and glad that you were a part of our journey. And do make time for our Platinum Jubilee celebrations, which is going to be celebrated on Jan 1st, 2022. And the timing would be the same. I'll share the link soon. And thank you so much, participants, for joining in. Thank you, Mini Ma'am, for all those wonderful words. And thank you, Sulochna Ma, and thank you, Sudama, for your comments on the chat box. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend and take care of yourselves. And God bless you all. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vidya, and thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vidya.
Thank you. Thank you.